Hi everyone, this is video 3 of 4 on how to pack for Mount Kilimanjaro. I've got with me here the Wild Gunabna gear checklist. I'm going to be covering two sections, headwear and personal equipment. The first item on the list, which is predominantly used on summit day, is the balaclava, which is the ski mask. And this is very important because it covers your ears and also covers your neck from the cold. So a very important item to keep for summit day. You probably won't need it on any other day. Moving on the list, you have the warm hat, and again it's just similar to the hat I'm wearing. Very important that it covers the ears, that it's thick enough, and it could also look like this. Some of them have this strap here which allows you to tighten it across your face. Moving on, then you have the sun hat. Now you can also wear just a regular cap. This one is a little bit more of a bigger hat that has more protection, and the reason this is important is because it has a bigger edge, it blocks more of the sun, and again from the back it blocks the sun because one of the most exposed parts can be the back of your neck, so it's important to cover that. If you don't have a cap, a hat like this, what you can do is have just a cotton scarf around your neck. If you don't have that, one of the really good things to have is what we call a buff, which basically looks like this. It's a really versatile piece of equipment because it can be a lot of different things. You can use it purely as a neck gaiter. It can also be spun around and used as just a regular hat. Lots of different things you can do with it, so just a really versatile piece of equipment. One of the most important things you can do with it, just like the balaclava, is that you can actually wear it around your neck, and then this goes all the way up to cover your nose, and because it's made out of breathable material, you can actually just breathe right through it. Finally, you have the sunglasses, glacier glasses, and again it's really important, like it says on the list, that it needs to be 100% UV and have infrared protection as well. Now this one in particular is a climbing sunglasses, so it's quite technical, but having said this, any sunglass with a good lens will do. So just important that not to buy a sunglass with a cheap lens, but just make sure that you have a good lens, and that will protect you. Most sunglasses nowadays protect you from UV light and infrared. Now it's also important to put it in a potentially like a hard shell cover, because sometimes when you pack it, they can be broken quite easily. Moving on to personal equipment, the first item on the list is the trekking backpack. Now we always get a lot of questions on how big the trekking backpack should be. My advice is not necessarily to stick with a certain number, but whatever is big enough to fit what you need to be carrying during the day, which is predominantly 3 liters of water, and I'll explain how that is configured just in a second. But also your camera, sunscreen, lip screen, and potentially just a hard shell jacket and a light or mid-weight fleece, just in case it gets cold throughout the trek. If you really had to go for a number, I would say 40 liters is a good size, but again, anything that fits everything that I mentioned is good enough. Moving on from that, you have the water bottles. Again, just really important for your water. There's 2 different carrying items for your water. One is a water bottle, and for here I would recommend something that is no smaller than 1 liter. And there's also what we call a platypus or a camelback, and this is obviously filled up with water, put at the back of your backpack, and you use it while you're walking to drink as so. Now this is really important because it's good to drink water in small increments and not just to stop every now and then and chug a lot of water, because what this does is allows your body to absorb the water better. So I highly recommend having both these. Now you need to be carrying 3 liters a day, if not more. So the minimum would be to either have 2 of these water bottles and 1 platypus, or if the platypus carries 2 liters, then just having 1 of these and 1 of these. It's up to you how you want to configure it, but again, ideally you want to have both. Now this one becomes less useful on summit day because it actually tends to freeze. Even though this is protected and warm inside your backpack, the weakest line of defense is this actual tube, which ends up freezing. So what you need to do when it gets cold is when you drink, after you drink, you need to blow the water back into the device again to make sure that it doesn't freeze quickly. But again, on summit day, it's cold enough that it will actually freeze no matter what you do, so it's better to have two of these or one of these and put them inside your pack, inside a jacket or something to keep it warm. Now, a very difficult item to find, but if you can find it, it's these water bottle warmers. Again, they're just made the right size of the water bottle, and you can put the water in here, and then if you're actually, they have a little strap here so you can tie it to your waist through the loop of your backpack, and even if it's outside, it will not freeze. Which brings me back again. One last important thing to say about the backpack is it needs to have a good waist strap, because remember, when you're carrying your backpack, you're not carrying it on your shoulders, you're carrying it above your waist. So if it's placed right above your waist, you'll actually be carrying all the weight on your waist and just supporting it on your shoulders. If you end up carrying everything on your shoulders, then you'll just get a lot of back pain and it will end up tiring you out. Again, moving on the list, you've got sunscreen and lip screen. It's really important to get good brands that are above SPF 30 or above, and to apply them more than once throughout the day, because again, you want to avoid burning your skin. The sports drink mix is optional. This could be an electrolyte to refresh your body with nutrients and salts, but as well it could be just something flavored to break the taste of regular water. If you're not used to drinking a lot of water, sometimes it's best to have a flavor in there. Again, it's optional if you want to have it. Again, you've got the sleeping bag. Really important thing to note about the sleeping bag, it needs to be configured for -15 comfortable, which means that a lot of these sleeping bags say that the extreme temperature is -15, but again, in this case, it would be cold at -15. But you want something that is, the comfort rating of it is -15, and you can, if you check the tags of the sleeping bags, you'll be able to see this. And that will allow you to sleep very comfortably at the last camp, which when it can get as cold as -5 or -10, depending on the season. After that, you have the foam mat, which is basically just a foam mat, 2 centimeters sort of wide, that you sleep on. Again, we will be providing a foam mat comes standard with the expedition, so you don't necessarily need to bring that unless you need extra cushioning. But what I'd really recommend to have is what we call a thermarest, which is an inflatable mat. It looks like this. Some of them come full length, so they're it could be up to like 190 centimeters or 200 centimeters, but some of them are 3/4 length, and that's okay, because you only need to be sitting on up to your lower section. You don't need to put your feet on it, so both sizes are fine. And this again gets inflated from here, and what it does is that once it's inflated, it creates quite a large air pocket between you and the ground again, which allows you to sleep even warmer. So that's been everything for section 3. Please check out section 4 for the last part of how to pack for Kilimanjaro, that's going to include traveling items and safety. Thank you very much.